All right, now unless I do a matchup video, this is probably going to be the final video of this ultimate Azwel guide, and this is just going to cover some kind of general strategies that you can use with Azwel to dominate your opponents. So again, Azwel is a heavy space control character, so really you want to do everything you can to keep your opponent from getting in on you. Eventually they are, but you want to do, kind of avoid that as much as possible, okay? And so luckily, Azwel has a really good backward walk speed, okay? And so between his backward walk speed and his crazy advancing specials and decent frames, you can really kind of keep your opponent on your toes by, instead of doing like, let me set grow to block first. Stand guard all. All right. So instead of doing like a full forward AA, you can just do forward A, they expect a second, and then you back off. All right, you're just trying to get some space. So forward A, look at all that space, just backed off. All right, forward AA is +2, and so really from there, you can follow up with a forward B, which they'd have to interrupt it with a 10-frame move really, or they can guard impact or try to sidestep. But for the most part, if you hit with that, you can go into the forward A, or again, you can just back off. So really what can frustrate a lot of opponents and make it really hard to get in is just you do that forward AA and then just back off. Forward AA, back off. All right, it can be really difficult for some characters to deal with that. And it can give you kind of a chance. It's such a safe maneuver that when you're fighting a new opponent, it can be a really good way to see how they react and if they're just going to keep pressing buttons or play it safe or what they're going to do, and then you can kind of download your opponent and be more aggressive. All right, so that's just a really safe option from there. And then don't forget that the crouching 3B, which comes out in the same frames, but like the second hit comes out faster. It's just a little different and has slightly better range. It's only -0 and knocks back on block. All right, so that too, look at all that space I just created. And it's a horizontal. They are both highs, but yeah. So just creating space, using frame traps, and then just backing off. All right, and you'd be amazed if you do that and you back off and like Grow, he has such short range. Let's say that he was expecting more frame traps or whatever, and he tries to guard impact. Well, now all I've done is I'm pressing the back button. I see that. Now I can come in with an actual AA to punish, or an actual crouching 3A to punish. So just whiff punishing with Azwel is so strong. It's just a really good strategy. All right. Next is your AB canceled into 2-2A. All right, especially from axe mode. So let me go ahead and get into axe mode here. So again, that's +12 on block. The range is just phenomenal. Look at that. That's like the very tip. So it's just so good. It can guard break. It's just such a good move. All right, so you want to try to abuse it. If your opponent's going to hang out in that range, abuse it. Okay. However, it can be canceled. So just that alone is really good mind games. From there, you can kind of do whatever you want. But odds are, if you see your opponent start sidestepping when you pull that up, then what you want to do is cancel into 2-2A. All right, so do that, cancel 2-2A. Cancel 2-2A. All right. The reason is because that 2-2A is a lethal hit against 8-way run opponents. So if I do that, get my 2-2A, oops, I can cancel into axe mode and get a really solid punish. All right, so one more time, do that, 2-2A into axe mode. I don't know why that last hit's not coming up. Let's see. Okay. Come on, here we go. So to A, axe mode, there's that, and then you can get a nice little, I think I even got, does that get a wall hit? I don't know, but 89 damage. All right, so 89 damage, all because he tried to avoid my +12 attack. Which is just crazy. All right, so again, reset this. So just canceling that into 2-2A is a really powerful strategy. If I can do it. All right, so then next thing is just training your opponent to block the hit levels that you want them to block. And so really, basically, you're just trying to get that, okay, or crouching guard, or that, which again, if you do get that, you can get a nice little combo here. There's that. So 73. All right, so you either get a 73 damage lethal hit if they block low, or that 61 damage special attack if they block high. So you really want to kind of train your opponent to block in a specific level. And again, you have all kinds of safe tools to do that. So like this move is going to get them blocking low on knockdown. And so then once you get them blocking low, it's really hard to react to that. And if you get that by accident and you're not prepared to do the full combo, just do a forward BA. You'll get 54 damage. All right, let's see. You can also get that. Yeah, there's another 54, so just 6BA, and that'll put you in Almighty mode, so that's actually a better option. But yeah, so just, oh my god, but just between that low axe stance, that, and the lethal hit, that is just all you need to beat so many opponents. It's really, really good. All right, so then we're going to talk about his stance linking a bit more. I covered this kind of in his overview, but this makes it so hard for some opponents to get in. Like, be careful if you're against some of those big bruisers like Nightmare or some of the guys that have good range. They're just going to run in and tag you. They don't care about your stance switching. But if you're against like Grow or Taki or Talim or something, Maxi, what are they supposed to do against this? All right, so if they're not sidestepping, then you got that and that. Okay, which are both, I mean, just completely safe. If they are sidestepping, you got that. Okay, and you can, I mean, just it can be really hard. It's if they're not familiar with Azwel, like if they don't actually play Azwel, it can be really hard for them to follow all of this madness. All right, so you really want to get good at this stance switching, get to where you can know what stance you're in, what stance you're going into, and not, accidentally do the same stance twice and get that kick like I did a second ago, just from talking and trying to do this at the same time. All right, and you'd be, at first it's a little difficult, but eventually, I mean, it's kind of becomes second nature, and you can get some patterns down. Just practice different patterns: forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, up, forward, down, forward, back, forward, back, forward, axe. Mess it up at the end there. Again, talking and doing it, it's a little rough. But yeah, so his stance switches are just incredible, and really the big power comes from your ability to stance switch into a projectile, or go into this giant horizontal +2 on block guard breaking death move. All right, so those are really good. Finally, let's go ahead and talk about his Soul Crush or Soul Gauge strategies. All right, so when you're in soul mode, wow, I cannot talk. Really, Azwel, he's a guard crush character. He does a ton of guard crush damage. All right, just so much of his stuff. Of course, that's a mid, so it's gonna get blocked. Let's go ahead and set him to standing guard, and just take a look at some of this guard crush. All right, standing guard all. Here we go. So this move does 22% guard crush. All right, this move, hit with it, does 15. This is a +4 on block that does 20 guard crush altogether. All right, again, we covered it in the move section. You're a good opponent's not going to let you get that second hit off ever. But if they are letting you, like, he's already at 40% guard crush. Okay, so you're going to be guard crushing your opponent like crazy. This move does 9%. It can't actually break their guard, but it crushes it for 9%. And I mean, you're gonna hit with it. There's no way to avoid it. It's all mids. It's great. All right. So when you get your opponent kind of high on their guard crush meter, let's go ahead and set him just before guard crush. All right. So he's just before guard crush. If you manage to land a guard crush, you want to go into your and you have the bar. Let's say you have the bar. Okay, so guard crush. Sorry, now I get a free super. Okay, and this super just does insane damage. Go. Here's the damage. So that's like, what is that? About 55% or so, 115 damage. Is just insane. And look, I'm still in sword mode, so I can still do other stuff. All right. And so just remember that when you're in soul mode or soul charge or whatever it's called, I hate the terminology in this game, that's +4 on block. So don't be afraid to throw that out, especially if I'm right next to the opponent. Even if they sidestep it, it sends me flying away. All right, so even if I'm right here, well, here we go. So now, like, what's Grow gonna do? You know, so it's pretty safe to throw out there from close range. From max range, it's a little more dangerous, but it's pretty good at keeping you relatively safe. Be careful throwing it out. But yeah, so that's a really good guard crush move. Let me reset him one more time. And again, if you can get them close to guard crush, that's when you want to go into soul mode and really nail them with that super if you can get a guard crush. And really, like, guard crush is kind of one of Azwel's primary tactics. He's such a good guard crush character, and I feel like I'm saying guard crush more than any other human has ever said those words together. But just again, between that 22%, this, I mean, impossible to avoid 10%, got 15% there, got 20% there, you're gonna guard crush your opponent, okay? And then let's go ahead and take a look real quick. So if you do guard crush them and you're not in Ultra, that's fine, because you still have really good options. So typically if you do guard crush, you're just gonna wanna do a 6-6B into forward into 6BA. All right, so just, I'm gonna guard crush with this move. If I set him to block first. So guard all, here we go. All right, so we're gonna guard crush. So now I get another one, and then a 6BA. So just an easy 58 damage anytime you crush their guard, and you can get a really good ring out from that as well. Let's see. Let's see one more thing. All right, no, that doesn't work. I was seeing if I could do that into that, you can get really easy ring outs. But even, I mean, I guess if you're close enough to get a ring out, then launching with 6-6B, 6BA is gonna get your ring out. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this video on Azwel's strategies. Again, it's all about guard crush, whiff punishing, and mind games between those cancels. All right, and then finally his insane 50-50 between axe mode, axe mode, B plus K, and his lethal hit from that. All right, so I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this whole Azwel series. Again, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, leave them below, and I'll try to respond to them in a timely manner. So thanks a lot, and be sure to check me out on twitch.tv/karaokelove. And if you enjoy these videos, please give me a like and a follow, and I appreciate it. Thanks.